Meta's latest Andromeda update killed most advertisers' results, but I cracked the code. I'm going to show you exactly over the next few minutes how I found a way to create over 15 different ad concepts in 30 minutes, which helped me increase creative diversity and creative volume to survive this Andromeda update that Facebook just launched. So let's get straight into today's video. Now, if you're not yet familiar, what is Meta's Andromeda update? Well, here's 3 bullet points for you about it. So traditionally speaking, if you think about how Facebook delivers their ads on their platform, it's in 3 steps. There's the retrieval system. So it decides which ads from all of the ads available essentially out there in the auction system it should pull from. Then it ranks those ads based on predicted, performance. So on patterns that it notices from similar ads in the past. And then it delivers the best ad at the right time to the user. Now, what changed is that retrieval system. So basically before, retrieval only pulled from a small subset of ads, usually inside of an ad set. Now it can process thousands to millions of options thanks to Meta's upgraded AI infrastructure. So in other words, Meta changed their backend, which allows them to have more computing power, which allows them to search through more ads. So in other words, the competition has increased in terms of the types of creatives that can be shown to a customer's screen. So in other words, instead of one ad being shown to everyone, so one kind of generic concept being favored by Facebook to appease to anyone, because this generic concept can actually be a part of any small subset of ads because it belongs to all of those small subsets because of how generic it is. Now, Andromeda makes sure that different people see different creatives tailored to their context and motivations. So recapping this first part right here, before you had one generic ad. And since Meta divided all of the millions of ads on its platform into small pools that could be shown to specific customers, one broad ad gave you the best chance to have this ad inside of every small subset that Meta created. So therefore, in other words, you had the highest chance of being on everyone's feed. Since Meta has now more computing power, it doesn't need to do these small subset or small groups. Now, those groups are much larger. Meta can actually process millions of ads to decide which ones to show to one user. So you're more incentivized to create hyper-targeted ad creative and messaging in order to reach the right users. So I'll show you that again in a second. Now, why single winning ads no longer dominate? Well, before you'd run 3 to 6 ads, one would outperform and Meta would push most of your ad spend towards it. That winner would work until fatigue sets in and then performance would tank and you would replace it with another one. Now, the system deliberately tries to avoid relying on only 1 or 2, 3 small ads right here. And instead, it will diversify spend on a CBO or an Advantage Plus campaign to try to have creative shown to many people inside of your audience. So there's less of the concept of one super ad carrying the entire account. So in other words, what Meta emphasizes right here and what counts as creative diversity is different concepts and angles, formats, persona targeting, motivation, and focus. So let me kind of show you how this looks like. Now, when we get the scripting ads, that's typically how we go about a scripting process. And I use what I would call the 3 variable system in my scripting process, where if I go here at the bottom, we'll usually have a different persona, a mass market desire, awareness level, and those are the 3 main variables that we're going to change in our ad concept. The 4th variable I could have added here is format, but I'll get back to that in a second anyways. So when taking into account our make money guy persona, which I have a separate sheet which I could show you, which we fully define. Who is that make money guy persona? What do they do? How old are they? What other ads have they seen before? Name it. That's what I would usually refer to as my research center. But that's besides the point for now. Mass market desires, what is the main want of that audience that we want to portray in this ad script? And then awareness level is how aware are they of that desire? So kind of going back right here, I'm going to show you a few different script examples. This is for one of our Section 8 coaching clients that we have. So they sell Section 8 coaching as an example. So here, script right here, is Section 8 legit? Well, let me tell you, yes, and I'm the proof of it. So I own over 150 Section 8 properties, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is aligned with product aware because somebody who's product aware would need to have their proof increase or their trust or confidence increase, which is what we do from the start, right? We go right over how trustworthy can not only this person be, but also Section 8 investing as a whole right there. Now, since going back, our persona is a make money guy and he wants financial freedom right here. So if you kind of read the script, is that the vibe that you get, right? So we're talking about owning different properties, completely changed my life. Here's the thing, you got to do it right. Most people fail. I focused on the wrong areas. I was 17, working inside of Section 8 program. I saw what happens. You need to choose the areas of Section 8 that's actually worth it. And then the vibe that you get from this is that, okay, whoever's talking in the first person is making money from it. He's succeeding with it. And so therefore, maybe I could succeed also with this, the same approach that he's been using, right? But then if I show you other scripts as an example, right? That second one, still make money guy example right here, different mass market desire. I want to escape the rat race, but still awareness level. But now look at how it changes the entire script. This is not just like one little tweak in the hook. What we see here is if you want to start investing in Section 8 this year, here's what you need to know. So again, we assume they already know of Section 8 to some extent, right? First off, you need a game plan. You can't just start buying properties. Second, you need to understand which areas actually accept Section 8, blah, blah, blah. Third, you got to know how to pass inspections. Finally, you need to understand how to actually do this without becoming a full-time landlord because Section 8 properties works differently than a regular real estate. So when you read that, you can still feel that we're talking to somebody who wants to make money. You can still feel that we're talking to somebody who's somewhat aware of what Section 8 is, but we're talking slightly differently. We're talking to somebody who's like trying to make this more of a job or replace their job with it. So it's like, okay, well, it changes entirely the way the script is written. Let me show you a third one right here, okay? Still the make money guy. I want to escape the rat race again, but now what we change is that third variable. We're now most aware instead of product aware. So we assume they not only know of Section 8, but we also assume they know of our client. So here, we just got to do like a call to action if we want, or like kind of get them through the door. So a lot of people have been wondering if client name Section 8 is legit. Well, already there, right? If we say this, the person seeing the ad, of course, would kind of have to already have an idea of who our client name is, right? So I'm here to answer that question in full honesty because I've got nothing to hide. No, my results aren't fake. Yes, I've helped hundreds of students build their portfolios, blah, blah, blah. So you can see here 3 different scripts, right? Only one variable that's changed, but it changes the entire way the script is being written out. So that's what I mean by having a 3 variable system to combat this Andromeda update. Since they want to have creatives that tailor to specific contexts and motivations, then we do so by using these 3 categories of variables right here. The best part is we also have formatting as a variable, because I kind of talked about that a little earlier, where we usually divide script frameworks by awareness levels. So as an example, right, I'm going to take back this exact script right here, okay, and which is a product aware script in here. Mass market desires, I want financial freedom. Personas, the make money guy. And as an example, okay, say I wanted to turn this script into an unaware script. So now I'm talking to the same persona, I'm talking to the same mass market desire, but to someone who is not yet actively aware of that desire. They don't really see why they would need or want to get financial freedom right now. Well, that being the case, it's going to change the way the entire script sounds and flows. So right here is an example. What I would do, and this kind of comes down to the way in which we do our process, I usually use Claude. Every client that we work with will usually do a project for them. Right here, we're going to put like any sort of industries and guidelines and compliance. We're going to put like any of our research documents, which we have right here. It seems like there's a lot of context here, but to be quite honest, all we do is we have a Google Sheet that we call the Research Center, and we take like a screenshot of every single page in that Google Sheet, which we save as a PDF and upload it right here. So that being said, that's all there really is to it. So that way we don't have to repeat context over and over again. But what I could do as an example is I could go back here and I could essentially copy the script, which is what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy this entire script. I'm going to go here and I'm going to ask Claude. So let me just write the prompt real quick and I'll show it right to you. All right, so here's what I did. I said, consider this ad script right here that we made for our Facebook ads. I literally just went here. I copied this entire script that we just made. So I went back right there, pasted it right there. Here are its fundamentals. Again, make money guy, Section 8 legit. I want financial freedom, product aware, perfect. So literally the exact same thing that we have right here on my script. Then I would go, I want you to rewrite a new script to keep the same fundamentals, except to change the awareness level to unaware and to use the below unaware script framework instead, which is our script framework right here, which I just pasted right there. What I'm going to do is send it to Claude, and it's going to rewrite essentially a new script. All right, here's the output that we got. In 10 years, you'll still be trading hours for dollars while watching prices skyrocket around you. Most people think that working hard and saving money is the path to financial security. But what they don't realize is that inflation is eating their purchasing power faster than they can save. Because again, remember, an unaware script would mean this person's not even aware they have a problem and would need to seek financial freedom. So we're trying to almost create fear and kind of not teach, but invite them to realize the problem and to take action on that problem. So that script is literally, if you read it, it's entirely different than this script. But the persona is the same. The mass market desire is the exact same. All we did is change one variable, was the awareness level in this case. So what I'm showing you right here is to adapt to Meta Andromeda and to create ads, as they say, tailored to each persona or prospect's context and motivations. I literally always use three variables. I'm either going to swap out the awareness level, I'm going to swap out the desire, or I'm going to swap out essentially the persona in this case. So I'm going to show you a second example right here. We're going to take, once again, it's the exact same script. All I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to change the mass market desire right here. So what I'm going to do is this exact same script that it just gave me, I'm actually going to have it regenerated with a whole new mass market desire. All right, so now I just asked it to take the exact script it just wrote for me, simply change the mass market desire to I want to escape the rat race. So again, consider the script right here. You're going to see the next script coming up is using the same framework, so same format, but when you read it, it's actually going to be different. In 10 years, you'll still be stuck in the same cubicle, watching life pass you while your boss gets richer. Most people think climbing the corporate ladder is the only way to build wealth, but what they don't realize is that trading time for money will never set you free. Now, blah, blah, blah. If you read this, we're talking about quitting your 9 to 5, making your boss, get richer, corporate ladder. So again, we tweak the mass market desire to a slightly different desire, still the same persona, same awareness level, same overall, business and product we're selling, just a different desire. Look at how much this changes the script overall. So that's how, essentially right here, you can make sure that different people see different creatives. And so when you go back in the ad account, the way I structure my ad accounts is like that. We always use a CBO campaign, just as we were before. Whenever we make a creative concept, we're going to make a new ad set per creative concept. And anytime I make a new creative, when I open it up, so as an example, let's just take DCT22, which essentially is this one that we would have had right here. So I'm going to open this up to the ad level. We make 3 variables of every ad that we make. So in other words, usually those are going to be like either hook variables, or maybe we're going to change like the image in the background, or if it's a video, we might change like the setting in which the video was shot, or even change the creator that the video was done with. So 3 variables of the exact same script, just like slightly different to give Facebook, again, a little more volume. So that fixes the 2 ways in which Meta is now playing with this Andromeda update. They want more diversity and more volume of creatives. Well, we've got volume with 3 creative variables, so volume is not an issue. And we have diversity by playing with those 3 variables right here to change them to different personas. And you've seen today exactly how this impacts the script with 1 variable only being changed, how much this changes the entire flow of that script. So if you want a complete AI ad engine system that I use internally, check out the link down below to join our ad engine inner circle today. Or if you're an online service-based business, e-com brand, doing at least 100K a month or more, then also check the description below to book on a call with our agency today. On that note, going to shoot an amazing day. Do check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.